Hello, I'm Commander Y, and welcome to my Black Ops 3 weapon review. In this episode, I'll be covering the Pharo. The Pharo is a submachine gun unlocked at level 31 in Created class. It's an auto-burst weapon with 4 rounds in each burst, so you can either pull the trigger once and fire 4 shots, or hold the trigger down and the weapon will continue to burst on its own. Shots to kill. The Pharo will kill in 3 to 6 shots. This of course depends on how far away you are from the enemy. If you're at point blank range, you'll kill in 3 shots. Otherwise, it's a fairly reliable 4-shot kill at normal SMG ranges, or a 5 to 6 shot kill if you're further away. This means that no matter the distance, any conflict can be ended with just 2 bursts. And up close, a single burst is all that you need to take down an enemy. Of course, this depends on accuracy and how well you can handle the weapon. Rate of fire. The Pharo shoots at about 900 rounds per minute. This is fairly high for SMGs, but remember, this weapon fires in a 4-shot burst with a 0.1 second delay between each burst, so actual RPM is a bit lower. But this doesn't mean the weapon is slow to kill, it just means that the Pharo is more of a high-risk, high-reward kind of weapon. If you're a good player that can make every shot count, the Pharo will reward you with many single-burst kills, but if you miss a few shots, the Pharo will punish you with a burst delay. It again depends on your skill. Accuracy. The Pharo has excellent accuracy. There is very little recoil in general, and the pause between each burst further lowers the recoil. This makes the Pharo a very controllable weapon, even over longer distances. Mag size and reload. Magazine size is 40 rounds. This means that every magazine contains 10 bursts. This is a fairly high magazine capacity compared to other SMGs. Reload time is quick, at 2.1 seconds. You can shave that down to 1.4 seconds with reload cancelling. Now that we've gone over the major stats of this weapon, it's time. Let's build a custom class perfect for the Pharo. This class will be centered around mobility to harness the Pharo's close-range performance as well as reactivity so that you can snap onto targets quickly. But more importantly, this class will emphasize flanking, where you'll attack enemies when they are least expecting it. Point 1 goes to the Pharo, of course. Point 2 to an optic. The ELO is, in my opinion, the best optic for this weapon because of its very open red dot, but if you haven't unlocked it yet, a reflex sight will suffice. Point 3 goes to the quick draw grip attachment. This is the quintessential attachment for this weapon, allowing you to snap onto enemies very quickly. Without it, the Pharo feels sluggish, and you end up hip firing more than you should with this weapon. Point 4 goes to the stock attachment. With the Pharo, you'll be aiming down the sights anytime you're engaging an enemy, so the stock's boost to movement speed while ADS is an important competitive advantage. Point 5 goes to the RK5 sidearm. In keeping with burst fire weapons, the RK5 will feel like a natural extension of the Pharo. In this class, we'll forego lethal and tactical equipment and opt for perks instead. Point 6 goes to the blue perk, Ghost. Our playstyle will be heavily focused on flanking the enemy, that is, taking the path less traveled to get behind your enemy and to terrorize them from a position of advantage. Ghost is the perfect enabler to that playstyle. Keep in mind that you will need to stay on your feet, as Ghost only works when you're on the move. Point 7 goes to the wild card perk 1 Greed. This way we can use a second blue perk. Point 8 goes to that blue perk, Sixth Sense. With Sixth Sense, you'll be notified in your minimap when an enemy is within close proximity to you. This is extremely important in a playstyle where you're behind enemy lines. If you accidentally run past an enemy, you'll be notified and you'll have a chance to take them out. Point 9 goes to the green perk, Fast Hands. This perk shortens the amount of time it takes to go from sprinting to aim down the sights. Especially on a weapon like the Pharo, this is absolutely essential, and in tandem with the quick draw grip we selected earlier, you'll be the quickest Pharo on the battlefield. Our last point, point 10, goes to the red perk, Engineer. I selected this for a number of reasons. The first is that it will provide resistance to enemy equipment. When you're running around behind enemy lines, chances are that you'll hit a shock charge or trip mine. With Engineer, you'll be able to see these traps and either destroy them or take another path. Engineer is also important to our flanking playstyle because it highlights enemy UAVs on the minimap. Given that your player needs to be undetected as much as possible, with Engineer, you'll know when it's time to get moving under the veil of Ghost. To round off our class, we need a specialist. For our flanking playstyle, I highly recommend the Prophet's Glitch ability. You'll be able to warp right out of the enemy's territory when necessary. It will keep you alive longer and keep the pressure on the enemy. Of course, let's not forget about score streaks. I recommend the UAV, counter UAV, and Talon. The UAV will keep you aware, the CUAV will keep your enemies guessing, and the Talon, well, it'll just cause mayhem. And that's it. That's our perfect class setup for the Pharo. This concludes my Black Ops 3 submachine gun review of the Pharo. If you'd like to be notified of the next episode in this series, you can subscribe. But until next time, I'm Commander Y.